NET stands for National Eligibility Test. It happens countrywide in several locations. Because of the pandemic, there was a little bit of shift in the schedule, but it happens twice a year in June and December. The reason why is it conducted is to make you eligible for professorship or research. Okay, if you want to be a lecturer, if you want to be a full-time lecturer, there is no other alternative besides clearing NET or your respective SET. SET stands for State Eligibility Test. If you clear SET, you will get employment within your state. If you clear NET, you can get as a lecturer, assistant professor in any part of the country. Today's video would be specific to NET exam strategy, things that you need to keep in mind, what is the marking scheme and how as per the question paper, how you should solve it. I always feel that students need to solve the paper as per what the exam expects out of you rather than your own knowledge base. We will see what it means in the upcoming sections. Many a times there is this confusion as to how many hours to study. It depends on you. I studied for 3 to 4 hours. I've seen some students studying for 12 hours. So if you can go for it, then you can do it. Consistency is important. It doesn't matter how many hours. What is the quality of those hours that you are putting in? You may be studying for 12 hours, but what is the quality? Were you concentrated enough? Were you focused enough? It is possible to give NET exam after graduation, but your fellowship will be active once you get admission to research programs, if research is your alternative. There are few criteria. I will do a separate video on how to apply for NET exam and what are the administrative things that come with it. Today's video is specifically about preparation strategy. There is negative marking. The way we have always answered for our graduation, for our masters, we think that the same strategy, if we apply to NET exam, it will work. But unfortunately it doesn't. Every exam has its own ethos, the way it tests your caliber. Okay, if the strategy is correctly followed, then there is no one and nothing that can stop you from clearing. Both for NET exam and SET exams, the syllabus is almost similar. My suggestion is to prepare from the point of view of NET. If you prepare for NET, automatically you will be clearing SET as well. For the purpose of this video, I have taken the example of life sciences, but the principles remain the same, the preparation strategy remains the same, whichever NET you choose. Further ado, let's begin. Let me take you to my whiteboard. So the paper is divided into 3 parts. Part A, Part B, Part C. We will see what each of these parts mean, but first let me give you a breakdown. Part A has 20 questions total. Part B has 50 questions. Part C has 75 questions. So the total number of questions is 145. How many questions can you attempt? Maximum number of questions you can attempt is 15. Though there are 20 questions, you have to attempt 15 only. If you attempt more, first 15 will be taken into consideration. Then out of 50, 35 questions. Out of 75, you have to answer 25 questions. So out of 145 questions, you will be answering 75 questions. Marks for each correct answer for Part A is 2, for Part B is 2 and for Part C is 4. So you will have 200 marks. Marks for each incorrect answer is 0.5. For Part A, say suppose you answer 1 correct answer, 1 wrong answer. For 1 correct answer, you will get 2 marks. For incorrect answer, you will get 0 plus you will get minus 0.5. So the total number of marks for those 2 questions would be 1.5, not 2 marks. So for Part B, negative marking is 0.5 and for Part C it is 1 marks. Okay, that means it is 25% of the total marks for that particular question. I'll take the help of my note. So Part A has general aptitude with logical reasoning, graphical analysis, analytical and numerical ability, quantitative comparison, series formation, puzzles. Part B has questions related to your topic. So if it is life sciences, it will have questions from life sciences. If it is maths, then it will have questions from maths. For Part C, you will have questions from your subject, but they are analytical questions. They are higher order questions where the scenario would be given, this is happening. If this happens, what would be the answer? Basically, if I try to summarize, part A will test your analysis in general aptitude, part B checks your memory in your subject, and part C checks analysis in your subject. We'll see now how to answer each of the questions. Now the breakdown that I've given over here is for life sciences subject. For each discipline, it is different. Out of 4 options, only 1 is the correct answer. Now for part A, generally any kind of CAT books, okay, CAT general aptitude. Maybe I should do a separate video on how to prepare for part A. Logical reasoning, or where it has everything in one place. It's better not to go for separate books on logical reasoning, general aptitude, mathematical aptitude. Select one book which has all these sections which I've mentioned, so it becomes easier for preparation. Focus should be on using logic to answer mathematical questions if there are any in part A. I remember in one of the exams they had given few letters, okay, and they had cropped the top portion of the letters and asked us to predict which would be the next letter. Such funny kinds of questions also they ask sometimes. Out of all the sections which are there, usually what students feel is that part C is the toughest section. Why? Because the length of the question is more. The funny part is that if you consider the way this exam tests you, and if you compare it section wise, then part B is the toughest, and I'll tell you why. First, let's understand part C. Now in part C, as I said, your analytical ability is tested. What is given is some kind of scenario would be given, this and this, this and this, this and this. There will be a condition. If this happens, then what would be the answer? The easy part over here is, by the time you read the entire story, you will get an idea of the background of the question, from which unit, from where, what logic you have to use, okay, for part C. But for part B, they are short questions and they are based on memory. So if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. For part C, मतलब तुक्का भी लगा सकते हैं, पर never make tukka on part B. Okay, guesswork never do for part B. Ideally for NET exam, don't rely on guesswork. I see some students, if the answer for first 2-3 questions is A, first option, then for the 4th question also they will tick mark A only. Please don't do such blunders. Solve the paper using logic. Study all the units, because you never know from which unit which question will come. If you see part C question, you understand that this question is from this particular unit. Sometimes what they do, they combine 2 units together and frame the question accordingly. But for part B, if you are not very well versed with the syllabus, you won't be able to understand the questions and from which unit it comes. Understanding the text and revising and going on revising, that is the only way to answer this particular section. For part C, understand each word. Sometimes what they do is they will give a question. You will think after reading the question that, say suppose 4 options are given. First one is the answer. But in the question there will be a condition. So in your textbook what you have read, it is as per one condition. But here they will change the condition and they will say if the condition is like this, then you cannot use your textbook knowledge. You have to use your logic over there. Let me give you an example. Say suppose as per your notes, A plus B gives C. This is what you have read in the textbook. If in the question C they have given the condition C plus A is B, this is in the textbook and this is in paper, then you have to assume that this is the one that you have read, okay, and answer accordingly. Don't boycott the question. Say suppose you are giving 4 hours. Out of that, 2 hours would be for new learning. If you are going for any classes, then studying that days. 1 hour would be for revision and 1 hour would be for question paper solving. 2:1:1. You may think that you know the subject. You don't know it till you get one answer correct while solving the question paper. I have answered several exams. Some exams I've cleared, some exams I've failed. And wherever I failed, it is because of this. I focused too much on this particular part and ignored this one. So I suggest you not to make the same mistake. While solving question papers. If you are preparing for NET, solve past question papers of NET only. Even if the syllabus is same, the pattern is different. Even if the pattern is same, what the exam wants from you is different. Okay. I have elaborated more of this in NET exam mistakes video. So at the end of the day, what cool and composure you maintain in those 3 hours is important. I've seen students who have prepared very well, but in exam they get nervous. Even if you are not prepared, give the exam so that you get the feel of the exam. Stay tuned for more videos.